Thank you, Dylan. This morning, obviously, there's a lot of stuff that Josh covered that really resonated with us, and you'll see some of the examples that we're doing at Black & Decker. The biggest difference that or biggest benefit that I have that most of you don't, what we do differently at Black & Decker is that somebody asked this morning about how do you work with HR and how do you get them involved in approving processes. Well, at Black & Decker, we simply remove them from the process altogether. I report into the president of commercial operations, so our customers are the sales and marketing team. So I'll show you some of the things that we do at the facility, and you'll see it's a lot of hands-on training. We're Black & Decker, which owns Black & Decker Power Tools, DeWalt Power Tools, Porter Cable, Delta, and some other entities. So we'll dive into it here and show you some of the things that we're doing to support some of the models that Josh spoke about this morning. Our mission here at Black & Decker, obviously, as I mentioned, is to train the sales and marketing folks, ultimately increasing profits for the company. As well as that, our training team also trains our distributors out in the field. So we're actually working with our distributors and training them on our own products, and hopefully they're going to sell what they know. This is just a couple snapshots of the facility. The facility itself is 35,000 square feet, and about half of it is dedicated to product training. So it's hands-on, and what you'll see is that regardless of what model you believe in or what model you use, we physically will never remove that hands-on piece. So we'll always have that formal piece because it speaks a lot of benefit to be able to talk to an end user and say, yes, I've used our product and I've used a competitive product as well, and here's the difference between the products. So we do a lot of hands-on training at our facility, and we've got about 12 people on staff full-time running the facility there. If you look at this from a blended training model, this is the way that we've looked at it in the past. We can look at it a couple different ways: online, instructor-led training, and field, and then self, or pre, during, post, and ongoing, to have resources that are out there, and we'll speak to some of these here in just a minute. This is kind of our iceberg that you saw this morning from Josh with formal and informal. Formal being above the water or above the sheet metal, with the formal training, and again, we're doing that internally in our facility as well as out in the field with our distributors. From a social standpoint or informal training, again, we can never move away to a solely dedicated informal or social process. We've got to have that hands-on training to get that real-world experience for the tools that are being used. So we've got a couple of different things that we've challenged our LMS provider to work with us on, and we're heading in that direction. We'll launch a new LMS this year. Our provider is SertPoint, and they're based in New York, but have offices in Paris as well as Belgium. But we've challenged them to help us get moving in the right direction here from a social and informal standpoint. We'll share with you some of that functionality. This is a quote that I've been using all year, and it really makes sense to us. And you talked, or Josh mentioned it this morning, Don mentioned it yesterday as well as this morning, but collaboration and working together with other groups. Typically, when the budgets get cut or you're in a crisis, it's everybody's going to do more with less. Well, we've adapted this new mentality here: do more with more resources, find the resources out there, and create a collaborative environment. So we've gotten to the point now that we've reached out to our sales teams, and they're creating content for us. Now, they're not courses, but they're elements that other people will benefit from, and we'll show you some of that, how we do that. But this certainly resonated with us throughout the year with where we're going with creating more of a collaborative environment. The LMS that we had up until this past year, just like any LMS, we're creating content on this end, pushing it through to the user on the other end. And the challenge that we've had with our provider this year is, hey, let's work to make it work in both directions. So we're working through that right now, and we're going to create more of an environment here that they can help us, and we can create blogs and wikis, interact with them, but they can interact with each other as well. And we're getting content coming back to us as well, and we'll show you some of those examples with how we're getting that content or what we're doing with it. And the one thing that we certainly wanted to do first is, before we dove into any new technology, we wanted to figure out what do they know about it. So we sent out a survey to our field sales teams. Again, we're primarily focused on sales and marketing. We've got about 600 people that we really call our customers, but we are the go-to for the entire corporation looking for other training, and we'll point them in the right direction. But the 600 people that we reached out to, it's kind of ironic if you look at some of the different things we asked them about. Virtual reality and Second Life, 74% of them never heard of it. If you look at RSS feeds, to me, that's a shocker. RSS feeds, to me, has changed my life in the way that I get information coming back to me. But 60% of our customers don't know anything about it. So there's things that we're trying to push or create, but not push and mandate it upon them. So there's going to be certainly early adapters and the laggards, and the laggards we're not worried about because they tend to be, in our organization, the more tenured folks who you start off on this end, and they are the early adopters, and it's the way that they're learning, and they are going to be in those roles eventually and taking that knowledge with them. So we've really created this, the mobile application as well as some of these new functions in the LMS, really for the early adopters, which are those folks that are coming right off the college campus, and they're doing it today. The corporation just hasn't made it available to them. So this is something that we're doing on our own. We've worked with IT to create a couple of these elements, but something we're moving forward with, but certainly wanted to get an understanding as to, are we heading in the right direction or not? And it actually, by the chart, it falls with the groups of different parts of the organization. So the more tenured folks are certainly the laggards that we're really not going to force anything upon them, but it's these guys at the other end that are already using this type of technology that we're going to focus on. So some of the new functionality that we're putting in place with the CertPoint platform, blogging capability. So if we've got courses, again, we generally bring folks into our facility for about a week, for a week-long class. Prior to that, they'll have anywhere from 8 to 12 hours of online training that they'll do within the LMS and then come in. But so a lot of interaction now that we can have with them and that they can have with their peers in the class. Sharing successes and posting them up in the portal. Same thing with wikis. The other thing that we're working on with the provider is the search functionality. We want to make this a resource for everybody, and it's one place for everything that they need. So whether it's a training document that we use in class, or a video that we've created, or it could be articles that we get written up in a different magazine for a woodworking tool or a product launch. But the functionality there is a smart functionality that you could search one thing. So if I typed in miter saws, I'd get every video, every document, every presentation, every PDF and article all in one place. So it's one-stop shop for them. And then the last piece is that we've set up different portals for other parts of our organization or our peers across the globe. I said do more with more. That's one thing that we're trying to get them more involved in the process. They've kind of depended on us a lot over the last few years, and we've gotten to the point that we want to continue focusing where we're focusing. We want to help them where we can. So now we're enabling them to create their own content in their own portal rather than relying on us to do that for them. This is just a snapshot here of the interface as you go into it. These are just a couple shots of some of the courses. So we've got a history course, Black & Decker history. So as a new hire, that's certainly important for somebody to understand that. Cordless is a primary focus for our business. We, as I said, we manufacture DeWalt power tools, and cordless is our bread and butter. These are woodworking tools, and then over here, that's a grinding course. But we've got about 100 courses that we've created. Now, we've created these over the last 8 years. We've talked about rapid development, and it's somewhere that we're trying to find a fine balance there, because these courses we've invested a lot of money in the past, and they've taken a lot of time to create, a lot of different media in there. I don't necessarily believe that we need to have 1-hour courses when I know that the attention span of these individuals coming into the organization will not warrant a 1-hour course. So we're moving more towards a rapid development process to smaller, quicker courses that might be 10 or 15 minutes as opposed to 1 hour. But we do have about 100 of them in there right now, some of which do have language functionality. We have a portal for our Latin America group, and they've got Spanish and Brazilian Portuguese in their portal. Hey, the one thing that we found that we were doing more and more of last year, or about a year and a half ago, we would take videos, and we would create the video and embed it into the course. So here's an example of how this power tool was used after you've gone through the market share and features, benefits, and here's a video that's going to go on for a minute and show you how to cut crown molding or whatever the case may be. So we would shoot, we'd take all the equipment, set it up, and put it away, and it would get in the way. We had a resource library in our facility that it might be 10 feet by 8 feet, or maybe larger than that. It's probably 20 by 8, that had desktops in it for our participants as they were in to give them access to email, et cetera. Well, we're 100% wireless now. We've got laptops, so we repurposed that area and made it a full-time studio. So we had all the equipment. We just needed the space to dedicate. So we've got a studio set up right now that's up full-time. We can use it at any point. We could shoot a message in the morning, edit it, and have it shot or pushed out this afternoon. It could be a training message. We are not the communications team for the corporation. There isn't one, but by default we have become one. So it's nice to be appreciated by the group, and they're starting to come to us more and more for these types of things. But we're using them for different things. We're using them for online course content, embedding it into the pre-work, into the course. This young lady at the top, this is an instructor that's at the facility. Rather than be a new hire and you're in the field for 30 days and then you get this email that says, congratulations, you're coming to BDU for a week. By the way, you need to take these 10 hours of courses. It's a personal message now coming for that individual. So they feel a bit more close connected to the training department. The bottom one there is a reinforcement. So after they've gone through a course, through a week-long course, this is Art Quackenboss. He's one of our lead facilitators on product training. Hey guys, it's Art. Great to have you here this week. Here's a question that you guys repeatedly asked throughout the week. I'm here to clear it up. Here's a 2-minute video on a competitive hammer drill, and send it out there. So we're using it for a lot of different things, and it's been very well received. So I'm sure most of you have heard of YouTube, right? We worked with our IT department to create an element internally for us. We happen to be BDU, Black & Decker University. So this is a portal that we've got inside of our behind our own firewall. And I tend to, through RSS feeds that I mentioned earlier, get a lot of data. There's a data that came out, it's a data collection that comes out in the U.S. from a company called ComScore, and they track a lot of technology and media. In the month of November, in the U.S. alone, 30 billion videos were viewed. That's a lot of videos, right? So we're not quite there yet internally, but I think of that statistic of 30 billion, 13 billion of them in the month of November came from Google or YouTube. So I think we're on the right track with this, and certainly with the less tenured folks within our organization. But we've got about 40,000 views in the last 18 months internally. Now, keeping in mind, our customer base is about 600 people of sales reps, but there's a lot more people now that we've opened this up to. So we've made a platform and made it available. They're taking a platform and made it available to them. The other benefit that we've got is the ability to react now. So typically, in our industry, we're very competitive with competitive products. There could be a new miter saw that hit the market today. Somebody would call up the product manager and say, hey, we've got that new miter saw. Do you want one? Yeah, send me 2. They send 2 in. It goes to the product manager and the engineer, and they tear it down and do all kinds of torque tests and outputs and cutting capacity. It literally would take a month to get that study completely done and published and out to the team, to the sales team, to be able to refute the competition's claims. What we have the ability now to do is, yes, and while you're sending 2 there, send us 1. I'll use it for a half hour. Art will use it for a half hour. Dennis uses it for a half hour. Now we can sit down and say, okay, what did you think? What did you think? And what did you think? We'll put our thoughts together. Even if it's just being able to send a video out that's 2 minutes in length with 10 kill shots or 3 kill shots to a competitive product, we're a month ahead of the engineers and the product team in getting the information out. It's a preliminary investigation. It's not max watts out and things like that, but gives them a very good overview so that they can go back to the distributor and even answer these questions before the competitor's even in there pitching the product. So we've got ability to react there, which has certainly helped us out. This is just a screenshot of what the interface looks like. Again, we've set it up, most viewed today, this month, all time. Submissions, channels, videos. The only thing that we don't have in here that we are discussing is a rating system. Whether we do give them the ability to put comments into a video. So a video will come up, and if you got a comment that, hey, you shouldn't do this or you should have done this. So the ability is there. They've also got the ability to submit videos to us. So as I mentioned, we're providing a platform. We don't want to start creating content for IT or human resources, but if they want to do that, we'll be glad to put it in the library for them. So we've had a lot of different collaboration happening, which is our point throughout the year, doing more with more, giving the platform, making it available to these folks. So a couple examples here. This on the top left, that was from the IT department. Guys, you're sending out mobile devices or mobile cards for all these laptops out there, and you're going to send out a PDF or a document that no one's going to be able to read. Create a video, and so they've done that with Captivate or Camtasia, and so it's a video and try to how to install an air card on the computer. This one up here is how to access BD YouTube with your mobile device. This one on the top left here, this is where it starts to get really collaborative with our customers. This is an individual in just outside of Atlanta, Georgia, shot his own video in the Home Depot, and his video was, this is how I sell against this competitive saw. And it was things that he had seen and heard or felt in his own real life experience that wasn't come from the product manager, and it wasn't coming from a manual or from the internet, but it's something that if everybody in excuse me, if everybody on our sales team knew that, every time they're standing in the aisle at a Home Depot and somebody says, what's the difference between that saw and this saw, that knowledge is going to help them sell a yellow product as opposed to an orange product. This one here, young lady, she took upon herself, everybody on the sales team that's in Home Depot, they process returns at the back of the store. We don't let returns just come back. So everybody knows how to do it, but somebody has to train a new hire on how to do it. She created a video on her own this is how a proper return is processed. Middle one there was from, again, from the IT department. That was, we have a call center, and they get probably a couple hundred calls a day. I reached out to them and said, look, guys, take your top 10 calls, create videos, and publish them as opposed to taking those calls all day, every day. So this was how to set up out of office or something like that. On the left there, I'm sure most of you got these or want one, the flip camera. Right? This is something that we're using a lot of. In fact, we've got a course that we do. It's a 2-day course, Advanced Presentation Skills. In the past, we used to have the video camera set up with the VHS, and everybody would get one tape each, and we'd do a lot of role plays, give them feedback individually, one-on-one. We went from VHS to mini DVDs. Recently, we went to the flips. So for an extra $120 per participant, we now have a device that they've got on their own, and everybody has one for the class to get the feedback. And in return, we say, Corey, you've just been through that class. We need your help here. Let's start a collaborative environment and push content back to us. So that's happening as well. We've probably pushed out 200 flips, I guess, in the last 10 months to the participants as they come in for training. So those are some examples. We're even trying to get to a little viral marketing, if you will. This was a product manager that did a good Billy Mays impression one day and wanted to peddle some of his product out to the sales team. So we had an infomercial type involvement here, and we're talking about doing Mythbusters and things like that. But it really does help get the energy around. Before we even had this on the site, people in the UK in our Slough office were calling us asking for the video, and we hadn't even put it up there yet. So it does help promote the platform. So these are some of the videos here. I won't even. I've got hyperlinks here, but I won't even play one. But again, that was a return processing. This is a generators course. Well, this is a course that we had, an hour-long course with some video in it. But that video itself is very key to understand how a generator works, and it actually takes you into the generator and talks about combustion and how the pistons work. And so that's in the library as well. And this is just a head-to-head competitive kill shots within a cordless platform. I found this article within our own library here. 1968, they were using video replay, vital to manpower training, and this is Black & Decker Training Department, 1968. So we've talked about making a lot of progress. The only progress we've made in 40 years is that they used to transport these videos, and now we're transmitting the videos. So we have made some progress, but it's been 40 years to do that. Moving into the mobile piece, the training for Black & Decker has always been a priority and something that differentiates us from the competition. 1910, we had mobile training, but it was a little bit different, right? We had buses out there with classrooms inside them, but now we're moving into a new era here, and ironically enough, this is our 100-year anniversary this year, 2010. Two individuals here in a black shirt are what we call retail specialists. They call on the Home Depot. They are entry-level. They don't get laptops. They get a mobile device. Right now, they're running on a HTC Touch. Now they're moving to an HTC Touch Pro 2. There's software loaded into that program or under their device, and that screenshot there is just a picture of it. What it really does is tells them, hey, here's your objectives that you're supposed to accomplish in the store today. So it's a mobile application that's already on their program or on their device. So this is how they track what they do every day. They'll go into a store. Here's the objectives for this particular promotion, what I'm supposed to do. Yes, I've got it set, or I don't have it set. If I don't have it set, the store manager has to sign off because it was him that told me I couldn't do it, even though it is a corporate objective. So something that they are very familiar with and use every day. So we've decided, hey, they've got the device. They've got a platform. Let's create another platform for them on the device for training. So again, working with SertPoint, we've created that platform. This is an example of an individual just training himself in the store, an individual of one of our employees training a depot employee in the store. Some of them have even gone so far as to take that device, hook it up to a TV in the back of the room, so it's just acting like a computer, but they're displaying product information or selling skills or whatever the procedure or process might be. If you look at the platform, that's what we look like for the most part. We consider ourselves to kind of be in perpetual beta with everything. We're never complacent with just sitting stagnant for 8 years using the same platform, always looking to improve it. So there's still a little bit of interface that we're changing here. We look at this more as a mobile resource as opposed to a mobile training environment. We'll take you through some of them. So this one here, this is just an overall snapshot of it, but it is something that CertPoint has created, and they're actually speaking about it at their booth. If anybody's interested, I've got a white paper here, but they're more than happy to talk to you about the platform and offer you a white paper down in the exhibitors floor. But some of the functionality here, again, we're a Windows mobile device platform, but they've got this available for BlackBerry as well as iPods. So again, product information. We've got that all loaded up, so somebody might be in the field, instead of having to get on a computer or rip into their bag and pull out binders or brochures, they can dial up that product information and see exactly what it is that's going to give them features and benefits and the ability to sell a product. I'm just going to go through a few of the examples. We have a value selling or a selling class that we do value selling, and to make that long story short, the moral of that class is there's two examples: what it is and what it could be. So this is today is what it is. This is a promotion that's competitive product and it's not selling. Here is what it could be. If you put our products up, it's going to move this quickly. Here's a financial spreadsheet that takes you through it, and here's the increase in POS or ROI or weeks of turning inventory. So we've got that loaded up into the platform as well. Of course, have a link to be to YouTube on that device as well. We're not to the point that we've got streaming capability, but every product that's listed in that particular account, we can set it up so that those videos are embedded into that device or on the card. In this device alone, I think I've got an 8 gig chip in there, and I could put probably our entire library on that. So it'll hold about 300 videos with no effect to the device on a $30 chip. So they've got access to that. Store locator. So I might be at this particular store. Somebody else is looking for, hey, where's the nearest other Home Depot or nearest Lowe's or nearest product service center? We can look that up. Some sales reporting, which will capture, here's an event that I did and I was able to sell this many products, or I was able to train this many people. What do we have here? Promotions. So again, this is just recapping. Here's what the objectives are and what promotions are supposed to be set at any given time. Some people would say, okay, what's the difference here between this and just going onto the internet? Well, the difference is that there's back-end reporting behind all this functionality here, so we can tell who's been on, what they're looking at, what they need. A lot of feedback coming back to us as well. That's it.
A whistle-stop tour. Thank you so much, Rob, because I think what struck me with that is putting the mobile in context with the learning and, more importantly, the business need of the organization.